Hey there guys, this is Tyler. Welcome back to another stream. Hello, Axel, Kava. Welcome to the stream. We're back with part 3 of watching every FNAF game theory ever before Matpat unfortunately retires. Fortunately because his motivation is a good motivation. Steve's family, but like sad because I like Matpat a lot. But yeah. So basically we ourselves a long way to go. This series is probably gonna extend past this stream series is probably gonna extend past Matpat's retirement. Like on March 9th, knowing me. So yeah, because I ain't doing like a lot of these videos. Because these videos get like longer and longer. I'm not doing it like a lot of them on the stream. Cause I have stuff to do later. But we'll do a few today. And if this series extends past Matpat's retirement day, March 9th, then oh well. Oh well. Anyway, how are you guys doing today? AK. There's some people here that ain't not talking. How are you doing today, Axel, and anyone else watching? Maybe, perhaps. I don't know. Yeah. Got pizza right next to me. I'm being serious. Some pretty good shit. Yeah. I think we should. I'm just gonna get straight in. How about that? Let's get straight in. So, alright. Alright, so, game theory, FNAF, the final theory, Finds the Freddy's, part 1.
Why, with enough belief, you could even cheat death itself.
Bendy. Wait, was that good? Was the audio good? Final theory, Finds the Freddy's, part 1.
Why, with enough belief, you could even cheat death itself.
Bendy. Alright, that's good. Bendy moment.
You know, it really is uncanny how these two games overlap.
We're getting into the Bendy era now. So I think this is... I didn't check the date on this one.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to the 200th episode of Game Theory.
Oh my god.
Technically, it's the 201st and a half episode because we had a mini theory way back on the channel a long time ago that's now privated because of reasons. And then technically the Bendy episode last week was the 200th episode, but I thought this felt more appropriate because it's solving FNAF with one final mega theory. So the 200th episode of Game Theory.
This might be in between Sister Location and Pizza Sim. Dogs are yeah. It was like a long period. I like game theater. Nice.
Proud members of the Pink Guy Truthers Club.
Pink
now,
Guy.
for those of you who don't know, one of the longest held debates in FNAF theorydom is whether this murderer watching children die is the same as this murderer watching children die. Because of their different colors, they became dubbed Purple Guy and Pink Guy.
FNAF fans when they see a shade of purple.
The two most threatening colors. Taste the rainbow, slaughter the rainbow. Since FNAF 2, I have been opposed to this theory, and I can now confirm it is dead. Like a child wanting a mediocre slice of overpriced pizza, dead.
Dead.
The witch is dead. One look at Scott's new strategy
I remember.
guide for the series,
I think I remember
Files
watching this video.
confirms it. Page 48, when describing the Foxy Go 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 minigame from FNAF 2, quote, Purple Guy is visible in the lower left corner of the room. There it is, clear as crystal. Purple Guy in the corner. Now comes the super awkward question that I never thought I'd have to answer. Which Purple Guy? Because there's two now, and if you didn't know that, strap in, it is gonna be a long episode. FNAF as a franchise has always been defined by questions. What was the missing children's incident? Who is Purple Guy? What's the deal with Balloon Boy? Seriously, what is
Balloon bitch.
Balloon Boy? But by FNAF 4, the games had just become a mire of unanswered questions where it was becoming harder and harder to tell the difference between a withered Freddy, a phantom Freddy, and a nightmare Freddy, let alone a golden Freddy versus a golden Fredbear. We had Fazbear Flights, Fazbear Pizzas, Fazbear Entertainment, Fredbear Diners,
Oh
Fredbear
my,
Friends,
yeah.
missing children, crying children, and bites from pretty much every decade. Then came System
Anime
Edition,
moment.
where between the butter and bongos, theorists,
Exotic
myself
butters.
included, struggled to try and fit together a story told by animatronics that lie, hand units that lie,
Pinocchio.
animatronics that fuse with other animatronics, and animatronics that
That
fuse
lie.
together with humans, who
That
then
lie.
become purple and
That lie.
immortal. Needless
That
to
lie.
say, it was a lot. For me, what had become the scariest part of FNAF wasn't the jump scares, it was the lore. So you can understand why when
There's
the
people
novels came out
here.
and
These
offered
ain't
what
talk
seemed to be
typing.
simpler
Ain't
solutions,
talking.
I hopped aboard. I started looking for more streamlined solutions within their pages, hunting for clues to the
Stuff
games in a
crust.
place where they didn't exist, but kind of looked like they exist and probably should have existed, but didn't exist. And the only thing I accomplished in the process was making things more complicated. So in all the time that FNAF 6 has been percolating in the back of Scott's mind brain, I've thrown out everything that I thought I knew about this series, and I've gone back.
Hey, I
and
forgot to mention the final theory in the title. Okay. Hey Ryan, what's up? The quote-unquote final theory.
doing what
Yeah.
I do best. Darn it. Basic counting. 1 Freddy button, 2 Freddy buttons, 1 Foxy toe, 2
Toes.
Foxy toes. Only this time, I was aided by knowledge of where the series was headed, as well as Scott's latest release, The Freddy Files. It's a book that many others dismissed as merely an elongated strategy guide to the games, but to me,
Yeah,
it's
that has a lot of
filtering
fucking
down
errors in
years'
it.
worth of lore into the details that Scott himself deemed as the most important to focus on.
I still can't believe they had in that book, in like the, it's one of like the, I don't think it's this one in particular, because this doesn't have Ultimate Custom Night, but like the second one, literally had, in like the attack map for Ultimate Custom Night, literally has the fucking Nightmare Bonnie Funko figure as like the head for Nightmare Bonnie, and then like the rest of it is just fan renders without credit. Man. Hello,
This
Kelly
entire
Nora
process
Queen,
of
welcome to
starting at
stream.
square
You
one is
watching
helping
it?
to see
Yes.
connections I never made
How far are we,
before,
Chief?
enabling me to create the things
This is the 16th video in the playlist out of like 99. Although a decent portion of those 99 videos are just streams and shit, which I'm not watching, so probably like 60 to 70, maybe. We got a long way to go. And I was saying earlier how this stream series we're doing is probably gonna pass March 9th, which is Matpat's retirement, so oh well. I'm not giving up on it though.
scared of a timeline. A
2023!
key breadcrumbs
This
Scott
happened!
has left for us along the way. And the more I looked, the more it all started to make sense. And that's the plan for this video, and spoiler alert, the next video, to create a final
spoiler.
definitive lore-based theory on the insanity
This is gonna
that
be
is
so
FNAF. Putting to rest the
inaccurate.
key lingering questions in the first
This is
5
gonna be
entries
so-
of this
he made a better
franchise
one
and
later
opening
down the
door
road.
for Scott to usher in FNAF 6.
Okay, yeah, this
Since
is before Pizza Sim.
At this point, we all know he's just waiting for us to solve the previous games before he releases the new one, right? Come to think of it,
Yeah, why
maybe
watch
I
a stream?
should
Yeah,
finish
exactly.
This theory. Now, while I could sit here and rattle off hexadecimal color codes and animatronic design features to painfully hammer out the timeline inch by inch, no one cares. Trust me, I know I wrote 2 other versions of this script where I did exactly that, and both of them sucked. I was
Oh my
boring and
God.
confusing myself. It gets way
He's
too
War Pumpkin,
convoluted
welcome to
way
stream.
too quickly when you dive into the details. But when I
No,
took
we're
a step
watching these
back,
in order.
I realized that the best way to understand
We've been
FNAF
watching
at
them
this
in
time
order.
history is to know that it's not a story about a haunted pizzeria. It's the story of a family. Meet the Aftons.
Oh,
A
yeah.
perfectly normal family of 5. Father,
And then like there's and then insert those memes where it's like the Heffley family from the live action Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies, but they portray them as the Aftons. You've seen that picture or image or meme. You've seen it. There's no way you haven't.
daughter, son, older brother, and mother. And the secrets of the Fazbear timeline are actually buried in the fates of each one of these characters. We begin with William Afton,
Oh,
the
man,
original
Paul
purple
Afton.
guy, the father, the one who
The
starts
father.
this whole timeline with a story that's all too familiar to us by this point. He starts killing kids at bear-themed pizza restaurants. It starts back in the 70s. Should've
Damn.
given him a big purple afro there, Scott.
Yeah, I've
2
seen that
flashes
image
us
too
back
many
to these
times as
origins,
well.
showing us Purple Guy's first victim at Fredbear's Family Diner before flashing forward to show another 5 victims of the Purple Guy in the FNAF 2 location and potentially yet another 5 victims in the FNAF 1 location. And he would have gotten away with it
Wait.
too if
Imagine if like Imagine if like Matpat's final Matpat's final game theory ever before retirement is like a 2024 version of the FNAF timeline, which includes Help Wanted to Help Wanted 2, so like SP Security Breach and Ruin as well. Fredbear. Maybe AR. Imagine. Nah, he wouldn't.
If it weren't for those meddling
He
kids,
does, I'll
literally,
die.
these victims refuse to stay dead. The soul of the first child enters the puppet, who then gives life to the other children by preserving their spirits in the bodies of the other Fazbear animatronics. Give gifts, give life. We've all known this for years, and Scott even confirmed it, but we had to start somewhere since this is where the story begins. But where the story heads to next might surprise
And then he went
you.
back on it.
Sister Location. More specifically, the mini games from Sister Location, where we meet Afton's adorable.
Because he changes the
daughter,
story
no name.
if people
Doesn't
get
help that
close
none
to the
of these
right.
characters have a name. You see, old Billy Afton isn't content with manually
Billy
killing kids
Afton.
anymore. He's busy figuring out new ways to mass murder the youth of this nation, and he does what any good business owner ought to do: outsources it to the machines. He designs a series of fun-time animatronics with features specifically made for luring and capturing kids. We can see it on their blueprints: parental tracking.
Remember when we thought
grouping,
Sister
secure
Location took
misdirect,
place in the
parental
80s?
voice sync, and once again, he would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those
Meddling kids.
Or kid, in this case. His own daughter, in fact, who is so excited by the
The
circus
meddling-
baby animatronic that she ignores her
I would have gone away with it too if it weren't for my meddling daughter.
father's warnings to stay away from it and falls victim to the claw.
Oh.
FNAF fashion, she done gets herself scooped, goes on to possess Circus Baby, and that causes the eye color of Baby to shift from blue to green. The tragedy results in the spin-off restaurant Circus Baby's Pizza World closing down in one day. The day it opens, and the fun times get stored. as
Imagine getting
trailers
closed
say,
on day
deep below
one.
ground, where
Imagine.
memories sleep, just waiting for the day that
That's
they
sad.
become rentals, one Afton down. Now, before we kill
Aw.
off the next Afton child, let's rewind a minute to explain why Afton's daughter getting turned into human Froyo goes here. Since this is a pretty extreme break from how most people understand the FNAF timeline. Evidence the first, not only do we see the animatronics actively moving around their respective
I know,
galleries,
right?
but their luring and capturing features were built with the specific intention of them acting as free-roaming robots. Something that we know was phased out in the aftermath of the bite of 87.
Oh, yeah,
we
fair
also know
enough.
that this incident happens before spring lock suits get decommissioned.
There's
On
too
night
much
4 of
technology
Sister
there for it to
Location,
be
Baby
in the
traps inside a
80s,
spring lock
if you know
suit
what I
and
mean.
says this.
You're inside something that came from my old pizzeria. I don't think it was ever used. At least not the way it was meant to be used.
So Circus Baby and her pizzeria were from a time
Yeah, I feel like
before the
Too advanced. Yeah, exactly. It's too advanced to be in the 80s.
which prompted all spring locks to be banned, aka the bite of 83. More on that whole thing in a minute. But perhaps the biggest clues to the timeline placement of the baby incident come from FNAF 4, what most of us have considered the
See,
first
this is
game
like
in the timeline where
2017.
the crying child gets bitten at his birthday party while psychic friend
The year
Fredbear,
knows.
he's
Here, he's there, he's everywhere. Who you gonna call? Psychic friend Fredbear.
promises to put him
He
back
stopped doing that after a while, like the psychic friend Fredbear. What? I need to like figure out when the last time he does it ever is. No. Imagine if like you know how I was joking earlier, like a few minutes ago, about how his last game theory, Matpat's last game theory ever before his retirement is like a 2024 FNAF timeline version of his FNAF timeline. Imagine if like he does psychic friend Fredbear thing like one last time. That'd be funny.
together. Throughout the game, the crying child, Afton's youngest son, keeps hearing the words, "Remember what you saw," repeated over and over to him. When the game first came out, the best I could do was speculate about what this was referring to, but now I think we have our answer. This moment. His sister getting scooped. The crying child saw this happen, thus prompting his fear of
Think he did.
animatronics. And we
I didn't
know
really
he
watch
saw
it.
through
Did
one-
he? I didn't watch the whole thing. I need to watch because I'm not into Hello Neighbor that much. Interesting. Huh.
Crucial design detail that Scott included. Look at how this kid's nightmares of
I didn't even get
Fredbear
to see this
materialize.
person's
The
sleeping method.
stomach mouth. It's a design detail
Yeah,
that
you
we all
did?
overlooked,
Okay.
but there it is, positioned in the exact same way that Baby rips in half
Yeah, I need to
claw
watch
rip
it.
Afton's daughter.
I
It's
saw the
how a
beginning,
child
but then
would
I went to
perceive
do
that
something else.
incident. And that's not all. It also explains why the Afton home has an empty girl's room in it. Something that Scott clearly thought was important for us to see, so why is it
Only
empty?
ever sucks,
Because
to be
the
honest.
sister
The
is
game,
gone.
the
She's
game,
dead.
the game
She's a victim
changed
of
too
William's
much and ended up
sloppy
being a buggy mess.
kidnapping
Preach.
scheme.
Just to be clear, I know a previous
Preach.
theory said this girl was baby, but she's not. It was a predictive theory based on visual similarities that didn't pan out. In sister location, Scott very clearly showed us that Afton's daughter doesn't wear her hair in pigtails and has a different color of hair than the pigtail girl in FNAF 4. And we all know how picky Scott is
Matpat
about
sped
colors,
up is
at least
funny.
at this point in the series. He learned his lesson after the whole pink guy thing.
That's not all.
Oh my! I remember. I remember Pink Guy. Shut the fuck up. You're a fucking cunt. Shut the fuck up. You're a stupid cunt. Something I did. Only OGs would get that reference.
Also gives us an interesting perspective as we move on to the next member of the Afton clan. Here's a big question that no one's thought to ask about this series yet. The mother, Mrs. Afton, where is she? I mean, don't get me wrong,
Laura.
adoption is a great thing, but something tells me that
I don't
Slick
know if I
Willie
believe
over
that
here
theory
isn't
or
the
not.
single father of 3 type. It was a question that I had never considered until the answer practically slapped me in the face while I was reading Freddy.
Bro. Wait a second. Hold on, let me get my Silver Eyes book out. Hold on. Yeah, that's literally. What the fuck? That's the back of the Silver Eyes, not the Freddy files. What? Yeah, 10 out of 10 edit. Oh my god. 10 out of 10 edit. You're right. You're right. This is a 10 out of 10. At least it's like competently, like, okay, it's competent as in there's no like obvious errors, because this is like an error that you have to like know if you're a FNAF fan. But like, yeah, that ain't the back of the Freddy files. That's the back of the Silver Eyes.
Freddy files. On page 127, Scott draws a very clear contrast between Funtime Freddy's voice system and the one belonging to Baby and Ballora. Quote, Funtime Freddy's audio seems pre-recorded and relates to kids and birthday parties, unlike Ballora and Circus Baby's audio, which is more complex. End quote. It's an interesting detail for Scott to specifically call out that I honestly never considered. Ballora is much more aware of her surroundings, responding in real time to movement in her chamber and not seeming to rely on pre-recorded lines like the more rudimentary animatronics.
I can hear someone tripping through my room.
It seems like more than just a coincidence that the only other robot possessing this level of speech ability is the one that we know has Afton's daughter inside of her. Up until now, we've all been quick to write off Ballora as just this weird Rule 34 bizarre new addition to the animatronic roster. But is it possible that she has...
I used to know somebody that like had it down bad for Ballora. Sad to even be telling this.
a bigger part in the story than we all realized. This is far from speculation. Another major clue hides in the song that she sings, one that Scott draws particular attention to in her character profile in Freddy Files. The lyrics go,
Why do you hide
Speaking of Pink, remember when people were speculating there was a Pink guy in FNAF 2? Yeah, he brought that up at the beginning of the video, actually. At the beginning of this theory.
all I see
In the
is
intro.
an empty room. No more joy, an empty tomb. It's so good to sing all day, to dance, to spin, to fly away.
this reference to an empty tomb devoid of joy resembling a
This
vacant
shit is
tomb
actually
the same
kinda
sort of
creepy.
language you would hear from a parent who had just lost a child, with the child's bedroom acting as a sort of tomb reminding them of their loss. Could it be that this song is referencing the daughter's empty room that we
Rip
just
Mingle.
talked about from FNAF 4? And if that's the case, does that make Ballora's true identity
Yeah, Roxy
Mrs.
and
Afton?
Wolf.
Ballora is motherly in a way that all the other animatronics aren't, with the mini Renas as her children. And she's a much older and more mature-looking robot than anything that we've seen throughout the series. If this were truly the case, based on her song, it sounds like after the daughter done got
Kelly.
herself scooped, William retreated into his work and probably a fair bit of child murder, hiding in his private
yep,
room
child
to
murder,
various
my
reasons.
favorite.
That's what Ballora's line, hiding inside your walls, is referencing. It would also explain why William has abandoned his other two sons by the year 1983, the time we see FNAF 4 roll around. He's too grief-stricken, leaving the older brother to be the one to have to take care of the crying child. Somewhere before 1983, his wife leaves him, or dies, or something. It's not really that important, and Afton preserves her memory inside the animatronic Ballora. And with that, another Afton gets buried in the basement. Which brings us to 1983 and leaves the men
Michael
of the
J.
household as the last one standing.
Michael
Crying
J.
child, older brother
I can't
Michael,
do it.
the
I
fate
can't do it.
of
I'll never do it
William.
again.
One gets bit, one gets scooped, and
Pinky
one
pills.
gets sprung. Ugh, I don't know, that sounds kind of bad. Regardless, the debate of whether Michael or William is the true purple guy who ends up in Springtrap is part of next week's video, along with how we know
Oh,
that
boy.
this is 1983 and my definitive answer on who the crying child becomes. So make sure you ring the subscription bell down below to find out next week as soon as part 2 of this ultimate FNAF theory
Ghostbusters.
airs. Seriously, do it. Otherwise, you'll never know how this series ends, and you'll forever be wondering whether it's Will Trap or Mike Trap. And then FNAF 6
Oh my god, I
series
hold on.
ends, and you'll forever be wondering whether it's Will Trap
Will
or
Byers.
Mike
I
Trap.
forget
And then
his last name, but Mike. I forgot about the Stranger Things parallel.
FNAF 6 will come out, and everything will be all higgledy.
And then man, that's a cool looking child to put on Springtrap. I hope they don't support Israel a few years down the line.
Trap. And then FNAF 6 will come out and everything will be all higgledy-piggledy. And as a final
Higgledy
treat for those of you who want to get super nerdy about the series and need more clarity on these early controversial timeline placements, well... if you look beyond just their fancier, more modern design, the evidence around the sister location animatronics points to them being earlier models. One detail of FNAF 4 that I've been kicking around in my head for a year now is the canonicity of the Halloween update. In the update, Scott included 3 new characters, Nightmare Mangle, Nightmare Balloon Boy, and Night Marionette. The appearances of Mangle and Marionette were both labeled as non-canon to the series, but things hit a wrinkle with Nightmare Balloon Boy because he got a pass. He was deemed canon, and that set off huge red flags for me because it tells us a crucial
Basically, Will's actor is a Zionist. I'm not gonna get into it. But yeah. Like,
into the series, but things hit a wrinkle with Nightmare Balloon Boy because he got a pass. He was deemed exist yet, and Crying Child hasn't seen the puppet, but Balloon Boy does.
hold on. How far back do
here now is the
okay.
canonicity of the Halloween update. In the update, Scott included 3 new characters, Nightmare Mangle, Nightmare Balloon Boy, and Night Marionette. The appearances of Mangle and Marionette were both labeled as non-canon to the series, but things hit a wrinkle with Nightmare Balloon Boy because he got a pass. He was deemed canon, and that set off huge red flags for me because it tells us a crucial detail. That by the time of FNAF 4, Mangle doesn't exist yet, and Crying Child hasn't seen the puppet, but Balloon Boy does exist and has been seen by little Jimmy Night Terrors over here. Logically, for Scott to officially say that Nightmare Balloon Boy is canon, he has to have predated the events we see in FNAF 4. Balloon Boy had to be around prior to 1983, which leads us to what we see and hear in Sister Location. Sister Location's location is full of humanoid robots. Sure, there's Ballora and Baby, but there's also these little dolls that share a similar shape and visual style to Balloon Boy, making it seem like an earlier pizzeria had a more human theme than the Fazbear restaurant.
Oh, what the fuck?
That restaurant, I believe, was Circus Baby's Pizza World. Now, what
It's so fat.
In Sister Location, Hand Unit says,
Due to the massive success and even more so the unfortunate closing of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, it was clear that the stage was set, no pun intended, for another contender.
No
in
pun
2017.
intended.
hearing the location of Sister Location opened after Fazbear Pizza closed down would lead you to assume that the events of Sister Location are happening later in the timeline, and you wouldn't be wrong, they are. But Hand Unit is talking about Circus Baby's entertainment and rentals. Baby and Ballora were built for Circus Baby's Pizza World, which, as I showed, came out long before that. This coincides with what we learned about Circus Baby's Pizza World in the pregame teaser Scott released on Scott Games. Quote, the grand opening of Circus Baby's Pizza World has apparently been canceled due to reported gas leaks in the building. There was only a handful of people that ever got to look inside, kids from here and there, end quotes. Obviously, this is all a cover-up for them actually closing the restaurant in the wake of Afton's daughter's death. That's beside the point. What's important here is that the animatronics were built at an earlier time, clearly during a period when Rosy Cheeks got a big thumbs up in the design department and
Yep.
were stored underground after opening day when Afton's girl got
Big
scooped.
Rosy
Someone got the
Cheeks.
location, rented out for parties, which explains how Balloon Boy shows up in
Those
FNAF 2,
kids
while
scare
all the
me.
others got forgotten underground, only to be uncovered when Michael was sent to put them all back together. Wait, are you all still here? Oh, good, because I have yet to say it. Remember, it's all just a
Yes.
theory.
When you see that, yeah. Yep.
A game theory. See you next week for the finale to my final FNAF theory. Well, at least final FNAF lore theory. I suppose I could do a science one if the mood struck. And if there is eventually news for FNAF 6, I could do a predictive theory about it, I guess. By the way, did you hit that bell yet? You should, to celebrate our 200th episode, give or take 1.5 or so. But whatever, this one feels like a big event. And
Yeah,
finally,
200.
Remember my YouTube Red Series Game Lab? Another
I
episode
remember
is free
Game
for
Lab.
you to watch
And I remember
right
this
now.
episode too.
Now, no YouTube Red subscription required. Available internationally. No problems. Just click on it and watch. And it is, lo and behold, the FNAF episode. I put myself...
Still surprised you did Five Nights at Candy's instead of FNAF.
as well as 3 other YouTubers through a real-life version of the FNAF series. 100% recreated too, like battery-powered doors and everything with limited energy. It's great. Check out how I do in a real-life version of FNAF by clicking the box to the right. Now, if you'll
I want to
excuse me,
watch
I
this
need to
again so
go
bad,
record
but I'm only
part 2 of
sticking to
this episode so that way
theories
you
in
have
this
it ready in time for next week. Not
stream
letting you down,
series.
not making you wait a questionable amount of time for the finale to this whole thing. We got this.
Okay. So yeah. Clearly, this is like, yeah, I can finally check the date. It's like October 28th, 2017. So 2 months before the release of Pizzeria Simulator. So, yeah, clearly the main thing in that theory or video that I don't agree with is sister location taking place in the 80s. I don't think anybody agrees with that anymore. Ziggy design. Yeah. Dude, that fucking FNAF Game Lab video is so fun to watch. It really is. But, yeah. Guess we have nowhere else to go, but, so you have no, yeah, I guess we had, okay. Let's carry on to the next one. Oh, fuck. No stream. No live. No GT live. Okay. Alrighty. Alright, here we go. Game theory. FNAF. The final theory. Part 2. Final. Yeah, right. Guys, this is the final theory. Early 2000s does make more sense for sister location. This 80s doesn't sit right with me. Yes. Yes. German Funtime Freddy. One. Bendy moment. The budget has increased, you guys.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, where
FNAF and Final can't coexist. Yep, you're right.
Funtime Freddy was almost German.
Yup.
Check
Yeah,
it out.
boy. Oh my god. I remember this.
Forget Freddy Fazbear, it's Freddy Fazbear.
Freddy Fazbear.
FNAF 5 gave us sister location, FNAF 6 gives us international expansion.
Yes.
This is it, the end of an era. My last prediction.
And then we get that in Pizzeria Simulator with El Chip.
Lore theory until a new game gets released. Makes me kinda sad, actually. So let's make it a good one as we set out to finish the job that we started 3 whole years together. And spoiler alert, purple guy is not the phone guy. Believe me, I tried.
Damn.
Last time we had killed off 2, mother and daughter, who go on to become Baby and Ballora. Afton's daughter getting clawed results in the immediate closure of Circus Baby's Pizza World, leading the company to retire the creepy, rosy-cheeked characters deep underground where memories sleep. But now let's talk about one question I haven't addressed yet, and one that was on everyone's mind during the launch to Sister Location. Where is Chica in all this? For the first time
Chica.
in games, one of the
Chica.
core animatronics is just gone. That seems significant, right? And it is. I joked earlier about FNAF Lederhosen location, but it touches on an element of these games that we tend to brush aside. That there's a business element running through all of them. Corporate double
Pretty fast balls.
liability taught from phone guy, parent companies in the form of Fazbear Entertainment franchising with sister locations. So what if Chica is missing from Circus Baby's gang because she was her own independent mascot at the time? It's not just wild speculation either. In the Scott Games source code leading up to Sister Location's release, we got all sorts of hints in the form of animatronic maintenance schedules.
Yep.
Reference to something surprising. Chica's Party World. Mention my name. Definitive
Funtime Chica, we will find out exists.
Still a solo act, but we know by FNAF 4 she's clearly a part of the Fredbear and Friends lineup. So it would seem that Fazbear Entertainment grew by merging with or buying out other animal-themed restaurants in the area, with Chica being the last addition to the crew and why she's a part of the series.
Thank you, Interneated.
So no, theorists, contrary to popular belief, it wasn't just Scott trying to reduce the amount of creepy poultry
Thank you.
fan art. Let's be real here for a second. Bibs aren't sexy.
Shall like.
Just saying it now. All in it like I said.
You can talk now. Oh, you weren't able to talk before? Oh yeah, I forgot. I have a thing that's in the chat. That's right. To avoid trolls. Government corruption, 61%. Yeah, I'm afraid of that. Clown. I'm not really scared of clowns, if I'm honest. Okay, a terrorist attack is like. Yeah. Family member dying, I'll be sad, but I'm not really scared of it. Climate change, I'm not really scared of, because by the time it happens, I'm gonna be dead anyway. Heights, a little bit. Never flown on a plane, but I intend on doing it someday. Dying, I'm really scared of. Fun fact. Yeah. So really, just dying in government corruption. You know, I could never be scared. I'm not scared of clowns for some reason. I just can't be scared of them. I don't know why. I could never like be scared of them. I always thought clowns were actually kind of cool, actually.
Know your consumer, man. Anyway, in FNAF 4, Fredbear's expanded to have himself some friends. Has become
Man, Matpat wasn't really afraid to brand that other side of FNAF back then. Yeah. Self-awareness. Wait. Man, I love how that Freddy plushie is cropped in. Same with Bonnie a little bit. Holy shit. And Foxy. Selling like hotcakes.
Nightmare animatronics all have 5 fingers. The only other animatronic to have that feature, Springtrap. 5 fingers because the humans have to wear the suits. Which leads us to one of the biggest debates
Yep.
in this franchise. Is this 1983 or 1987? The bite at the birthday party makes it seem like it's 1987, but the TV says that it's 1983. Never before has so much nerd rage been prompted by rage that lives on to this day. But now
nobody really fights about it anymore. There's probably like that one dumbass that's like, it's 1987, but no. No, you know what? FNAF TikTok might argue it's 1987. Because they want to like make what they think is like a better narrative, so they'll just like have it be 87 even though it's 83. I'd prefer it if it was 1987 because then it would make FNAF 4 more like a finale game, but like it's 1983. It's the bite of 83.
we know this based on a recent Reddit post Scott made on the subject of whether or not he's ever retconned his story. Quote, the truth is that I've done one actual retcon in the series, although I'm not going to say where it was. There have been other times, however, when my original intention...
I remember this. The truth is done one actual retcon. Still don't. So it's like sister location number 4 because this was before Pizza Sim.
didn't come across clearly. In those instances, I make a point to clarify in the next game. I use sister location to clear up a misconception from FNAF 4. End quote. Reading this, the obvious misconception from FNAF 4 was the year the events of the game took place, which, true to his word, he clarified via sister location by the room camera code of 1983.
Yep.
When Michael Afton revisits his father's control room decades after the fact, he sees that all along William had been surveilling their family home using cameras that were password protected by one of the most sorrowful pains of his life. Regardless, neglectful father William participates in the worst bring your son to work day by taking his traumatized son to a restaurant filled The story comes to a climax when the brother's teasing goes too far, getting his younger brother chomped at his own birthday party. At the end of the game, William, through his psychic friend Fredbear observation plushies, happy ending,
Knew it.
tries to put
Oh.
his son back together, except he's too late. We hear a hospital flatline neatly in the background as the cutscene ends, meaning that the child dies. That's far from where his story ends. He appears in
Womp
yet
womp.
another FNAF game because even though Daddy fails to put him back together, miraculously the crying child finds his way into becoming the ghostly Golden Freddy. For proof as to why, let's speed things up. Remember what Scott said in his Reddit post? He tries to clarify things in the next game. Between FNAF 3 and FNAF 4, there's a point he made sure to clarify. The happiest day minigame. Notice the masks across the two games. Not just symbolic imagery, but a direct reference to the masks worn during the crying child's failed birthday. Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie, Chica. The restaurant layout is also the same, just mirror flipped, with 3 party tables decorated with green, yellow, red, purple, and blue balloons. And it's a birthday party as evidenced by the cake. The puppet is recreating the birthday that was stolen from the crying child, and the mask that the crying child is seen wearing, Golden Freddy. But that's not all. The crying child gets taken by Death, aka Nightmare, an animatronic who just so happens to have an inverted Golden Freddy color palette. Yellow hat and tie with a black body as opposed to a yellow body with black accessories. Coincidence? I think not.
I think not.
Nightmare is one of only 2 canon animatronics to have a jump scare that's a static image with strange noises that crashes the game. The other, Golden Freddy. Which leaves us with 2. William and Michael, father and son. Purple
Oh, yeah.
guy and other purple guy. The rest of the timeline is the story of a serial killer father and the son who's following behind, retracing William's steps to undo his father's cruel work and free the spirits of
Oh yeah.
This next bit we're all pretty familiar with since it's based on evidence from Phone Guy. The bite of 83 causes spring locks to get discontinued. William, acting as a technician across all the Fazbear restaurants, is responsible for handling the recalled suits and starts using the Golden Bonnie outfit to lure children into the secret
Night
safe
night
room
3.
each
No.
restaurant
Night
will
5, night whatever.
strikes on June 26th
FNAF
at the
3.
FNAF 1 location. This murder, dubbed the Missing Children's Incident, eventually gets the place shut down, but results in Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy getting
Bunny!
children in power.
Sans eyes.
Electronics, along with the puppet, get shifted to the FNAF 2 location, along with some new toy robots linked to a criminal database to prevent a mass murder from happening again. Even some old favorites get pulled out of retirement, specifically Balloon Boy. And with that full roster, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza has its grand reopening. Now posing as a security guard, William, with his spring lock crank in hand, not phone, strikes again, causing the place to get investigated. William flees the scene, leaving the day shift security guard position open. Jeremy Fitzgerald moves up to build empty
Why does Bunny look like? I don't know.
agitated animatronics in an event
I have no idea.
the bite of 87, an event that forces the company to cease any free roaming
I love how like when Matpat uses fan content or fan renders or whatever, people don't really complain because he's Matpat.
the animatronics from that day forward. The toy animatronics get scrapped for just sucking at spotting a child murderer, and the old robots get stored back at the original FNAF 1 location. At this point, though, William
But they'll
knows
complain about anybody else using it.
so he tries to dismantle them using the safe room as his cover. And it would have worked out too if it weren't for those meddling kids.
These meddling kids.
They're meddling spirits.
2 videos back to back with a Scooby-Doo reference.
Electronic shells. He tries to defend himself against these ghosts by ducking into his trusty murder suit, but his haste, coupled with the moisture of the room, causes the spring locks to fail and Afton to
Womp womp.
inside of the big yellow bunny. The company, trying to save face and, to be honest, stock value,
Stock value.
covers up by sealing off the safe room as the dying William Afton
Stock market moment.
inside. I know, but Michael might be Springtrap. We're getting there. The management instructs all Fazbear employees
Oh, we ain't doing mic trap, bro.
existed, and another Afton falls victim to a horrible fate. Only this time he absolutely, totally deserved it. But now let's look at
Totally deserved it.
Michael. His story begins with the main gameplay of Sister Location, where Mike Afton, who we learn looks a lot like his father,
They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you.
is sent by dear old dad to put his sister back together. A promise that William makes to apparently a lot of his kids. This request of Michael presumably happened some years earlier when Mike was still a child, or before Afton ran away to escape murder charges, as implied by him saying,
I'm going to come find you.
Mike succeeds in saving Baby, but gets himself scooped in the process, having his innards replaced with innards. As we
Yeah.
see throughout the canon custom night cutscenes, this causes his body to slowly decay, turning purple, until Ennard abandons ship to look for a fresher body that'll draw less suspicion. Michael miraculously survives his Ennard enema, and here's where all sorts of puzzle pieces start to fall together. First, we know his name is Michael, but that he also goes by Mike, as shown by his name tag on hand unit. This immediately connects us
Okay, this part is like accurate.
security guard, a guy who eventually gets fired
like playing as Michael in Sister Location and FNAF 1.
Scott doesn't do jokes. Not only does the
Jokes.
front match, but a rotting flesh sack with
He eventually does do jokes.
spirits would definitely be pretty smelly. And if true to Sister Location, Mike's mission is to free the spirits of children killed by his dad, he would absolutely be guilty of tampering with the animatronics. He even provides us for an explanation as to why the animatronics would be trying to kill him in the first place. We hear it in Sister Location. He looks just like his father, which, man, William, if your face looks like a rotting corpse, might be time to consider getting some plastic surgery. But if all that wasn't enough, we can even tie it in with Golden Freddy's behavior in the game. Anytime Golden Freddy appears in FNAF 1, he's accompanied with the flashing
Hey Wax, welcome to the stream.
as we just saw, Golden Freddy contains the spirit of the crying child.
Yes, yes.
Brother. So the It's Me is one brother speaking to another brother, making him aware that he's here, he's present, and in need of spiritual release. Now, knowing that Mike Afton and Mike Schmidt are one and the same, rewind to FNAF 2 and the character Fritz Smith, a security guard fired on
First day on the job, really.
odor and tampering
Still
with
love that.
animatronics. Coincidence?
I think not.
Scott doesn't do coincidences. Michael Afton is literally
Surprised he hasn't made an Incredibles joke out of that.
of his father's past and stinking up the places as he do, like Michael says at the end of Custom Night.
I'm going to come find you.
And find him he does at Fazbear Front.
But before we get to the end of the timeline, let's address the elephant in the room. The fact that Purple Guy is established to be the killer, and Michael is clearly shown to be purple in the Custom Night. So wouldn't that make him the killer? No. As much as I hate to say it, there are actually two purple guys, but only one real purple guy. Admittedly, I left that purposely vague for dramatic effect, but let me explain. Or better yet, let FNAF World explain. In it, you recruit a familiar-looking purple sprite onto your team, and he says this: "Don't confuse me with the actual purple guy. I'm just a game sprite." And there's the difference. One of these characters is physically purple. That character is Michael, and the other is just a placeholder on the screen. A sprite representing a shadowy figure who, because the background of the minigames happens to be black, had to be colored differently, and that color was purple. But you don't even have to get that meta. It's made pretty darn clear in Sister Location's intro that William is the one who built the animatronic
Yeah.
to capture kids, whereas Michael is established as the one who's trying to save them. Even the timeline supports this. The murders date back all the way to Fredbear Family Diner in the 70s with a guy who's old enough
Purple
to
guy.
understands that Michael, the son, would be the right age to be the original purple guy. And lastly, if you believe that Michael Afton is also Mike Schmidt and Fritz Smith, as the evidence suggests, then the phone guy calls give you an alibi. Phone guy is talking to you about other security guards being investigated for murder, which implies that you yourself are not guilty.
Mike's efforts to atone for his family's past proved to be successful. Game by game, we see him piecing together the family reunion. Sister Location saw him free both Ballora and Baby. Then in FNAF 3's Fazbear Fright, Afton's younger
My
brother
main four FNAF tubers when I was young were Matpat, Taste Game Main, Annoying Orange, and Antonium.
Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie, and
In
Chicken
FNAF World, just major importance to the lore.
Good ending
Yeah.
3 shows 4 empty, unlit animatronic heads. That's also why, come the main gameplay of FNAF 3, the only animatronic that's still active in real life is Springtrap. Mike has been successful at appeasing every other one of the spirits, leaving him alone with his dear old dad.
Dear old dad.
He gets a job as security guard of Fazbear Fright, and shortly after, the creators of the attraction stumble across FNAF 1's secret room, with the remains of Mike's father spring-trapping around inside. Mike sets the place on fire to finish off his killer dad once and for all, because seriously, did you really think that building just spontaneously caught on fire? Fires in fictional stories always have a dramatic purpose, and Mike would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for that meddling father, who in both the FNAF 3 newspaper clippings and Sister Location's special ending is shown to have survived the fire and is now undoubtedly more bloodthirsty than ever. The end? Question mark. Hallelujah. The craziest part of all this is when you actually stop and look at the story, there really isn't a need for FNAF 6. Outside of the return of Springtrap cliffhanger and revealing what's inside the box,
We needed FNAF 6.
everything else pretty much has an answer. Sure, there are still parts of the tale that could be more fleshed out, like the puppet or what happens after Leonard gets ejected from Mike, but at this point,
Yeah, we need those.
characters have completed their story arcs. The family is reunited and the spirits are all at peace. It's actually pretty poetic. It took nearly 20 theories and literally weeks of my life studying these breadcrumbs to get there, but we did it. We got to a solution that fit together practically all of the loose ends, and that's pretty darn special. Thank you for being a part of that journey with me. It's been an incredible ride. I have no doubt that
Pre
this
FNAF
is
6 is
a
pretty
fun
weird.
person,
Yeah.
but you know what? It's an explanation I'm happy with. One that I
These
feel
people weren't sure what was going on.
one that I'm gonna let stand as my final word on the 5 games worth of series lore until a new installment. Crap, a new installment that just so happened to get teased immediately after
Oh.
Part 1. Scott, don't go getting predictable on me. Calling it now just so I can avoid the inevitable prediction theory. It's an installment that looks like it's gonna be taking yet another step back in the timeline to tell the origin stories of the puppet. Notice how
Nope.
the sprites are the exact same as the FNAF 2
Nope.
cake minigames where the first
Nope.
is murdered and the puppet pops out of the screen. Also notice that the ring
Nope.
is a direct callback to the aesthetic of 70s technology, which is when
Nope.
the family diner in the first
Nope.
take place. Lastly, the source code
No.
games keeps saying what is paragraph 4. Well, paragraph 4 could be related to a lot of things, but the one thing that jumps out at me is that as soon as my episode went up, this teaser came out. Paragraph 4 of my episode last week happened to be about William Afton's first murder.
Nope.
Before I end all this,
Nope.
the hardest of hard
Nope.
fans, one more deep dive on the whole Will Trap versus
Nope.
Mike Trap debate. Let's speed it up.
Most hardcore fans believe Mike is the purple guy currently in the Springtrap suit, and it's easy to see why. His voice is modified with an electronic effect in the custom night ending.
Nope.
Springtrap comes from the end of Mike's final words. And the purple guy sprite who ends up in the suit is seen releasing hits from their animatronics. However, these are easily explained away. We've heard Springtrap talk before, or should I say gurgle before in FNAF 3. And Mike's voice is very different
Roar.
from Springtrap's. Springtrap popping up on I'm going to come find you could very easily just be a visual storytelling element where Mike is stating his mission to track his father down. We visually see that he did it, but oh no, cliffhanger, Dad ain't dead. And we already
Dad
know
ain't dead.
very well be dismantling the animatronics to try and stop their attack. So it seems like a pretty valid debate, or at least it does until you look at the timeline. Based on order of events, William inside Springtrap is undeniable. Whoever is working as night guard in Fazbear Fright can't just be some random guy off the street, and someone who has seen both the FNAF 1 and FNAF 2 animatronics, considering he's having hallucinations of Mangle, Balloon Boy, and the puppet, as well as the first generation version of Chico. The only person who looked the part of the players outside of William Afton himself is Michael Afton. Also, we hear that Circus Baby's rentals appeared in the wake of Freddy.
Wait. Why withered? What? Bro. It's crazy. Wait. That's literally an image background. What? You basically just placed like an image background. Like an image, just like an image from Google over like the screen. Somehow layered behind Magician Kid. Didn't even bother to make it look like it's in the window. And you can see the watermark on the bottom right. Like, Magician Kid is blocking, like, half of it. But, like, you can see a watermark. And you can see a little bit over Magician Kid. Oh, my God. I love Matpat. I respect him, but come on. It's like earlier with, like, the fucking... This is just like... Matpat using edits back then as well, yeah. So yeah, first off, I can name so many things wrong. First off, Withered Funtime Freddy. Secondly, no attempt at, like, making it look like it's in the window. Because how I do it is, like, I, like, have, like, the shade of black or whatever the window is. Like, it's, like, a bluish black. Just, like, bit, like, faded all over, like, the backgrounds. I mean, like, the corners and sides. Instead of just placed on top of it. And then, like, the watermark. And then, some really small baby's, like, dress or clothing is, like, a different shade than her hair color, which is basically the same shade in the game. Same shade of red. I mean, they're not stupid because at least the video's, like, watchable. So it's not, like, completely bad. It gets better as, like, the years go on. But, like, this is, like, better than how he'd edit in, like, his FNAF 2 video where it's, like, clear he was trimming, like, cutouts and shit. Sweep it under the rug. It's probably fine. Hello, my name's Michael.
and turned purple since Circus Baby's red
Peppa.
opened at that point, and he would have been trapped in the walls of the FNAF 1 location in the Springtrap suit. Lastly, and like worse Springtrap than Who Set Fire to Fazbear.
Okay, you see, that looks good though. See, sometimes, and this looks good too. So, like, his editing in these videos is like good for the most part. It's just like sometimes it's just like those little fuck ups that are just like so obvious to point out. Like all that fire stuff was good. What is that? What is that? Hold on. I don't know if you guys are ever able to see my like cursor when I'm like watching this shit. Hold on. For these streams, I'll turn it on. What the fuck? Here, you can see my cursor now. Yeah. What is this? What is this? It's like Nightmare Foxy. What is this? Close the book. Love that. Yep. Yes. W.
Freddy included, but also stuff like Hearthstone, which is really awesome. Also, if you want more FNAF action, watch me and Rosanna Pansino play FNAF 6. Yeah, that's right, FNAF 6 together. That's a new video on her channel in the link
Clickbait moment.
right now. Both get so scared by this dark game. And lastly, surprise, surprise, I actually do more than Freddy theories. If you want a new series to tide you over until FNAF 6, check out Hello Neighbor. It's great, and there's
Oh.
fodder in there. Here's a theory to get you started.
Wait.
Hello Neighbor. It's great, and there's tons of theory fodder in there.
I wanted to. Please dissect. Wait. I hope Matpat enjoys dissecting this frame by frame.
The theory to get you started, just click that box on the right. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need a nap.
So do I. In about not anytime soon. Yeah. I still find that edit thing funny. But yeah, but all around not terrible. He got like the Michael stuff right with like you're playing as him in Sister Location and FNAF 1. He's using Mike Schmidt as like a fake name. He like father like son, am I right? That's how he uses Dave Miller as his name in the Silver Eyes Rat William, whatever. See, this next theory is his first Pizza Sim theory, so it's post Pizza Sim. We're getting into January 28th, 2018. So this is like his first 2018 theory. 2018 was such like a weird year for FNAF because like Ultimate Custom Night released, of course, which was like one of the first times ever where Scott was just like so open about the development of the game. And then like this was, in my opinion, this was when like cringe culture was at its worst for FNAF. Like this was like the time you would see like FNAF being called cringe by everybody. 2016 a little bit, but like 2018 was like bad. It was fucking bad when it came to people calling FNAF cringe or cancer and making fun of people for liking it. I remember those days terribly. 2018 was like the worst of it. So yeah, this is gonna be an interesting year. Anyway, let's get started with his first FNAF 6 theory, which is like 23 minutes long. Let's go. Alright. Oh, we're starting off strong. WW. FNAF game theory. FNAF 6. No more secrets. FNAF 6. Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria Simulator.
And to you monsters trapped
In the corridors, be still and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. I love the face. The darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you all. So don't keep the devil waiting, old friend.
Jeez, Scott. I know we didn't get along all the time, but condemning me to hell seems a bit extreme. Seriously, though, can we turn on some air conditioning here or something? It's, getting a bit warm in here. Oh, wait, it is me because I'm wearing my snuggly new
Is it getting hot in here, or is it just me?
Game Theory merch. And you, too, can be getting hotter than a serial killer in a burning death trap because starting right now, new merch is available via the link in the description.
Burning.
Do you know the way to good fashion?
Ew, 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 ew. 2018 moment, ew. I remember this meme. Do you know the way? Oh my god, Ugandan Knuckles, of course.
Well, I will show you the way because not
Oh my
only do we have
god.
this nifty hoodie with embroidered
Stop
patches
it.
that make you feel like you're wearing a
Stop
warm,
it.
stylish
Oh yeah,
blanket,
speaking of merch, so you know like those FNAF varsity jackets that Matpat was like selling, like a month or two ago. Well, I ordered one. It came in. Yeah, it came in like 3 days ago. I'm wearing it right now as we speak. Actually, it's like pretty comfy. I love I also just love the pink and everything.
also have new shirts with a stunning slimming design so you can look and feel great even after stuffing your face with budget pizza from a defunct children's restaurant.
I hope Matpat enjoys dissecting this frame, but I'm gonna stop. I'll stop.
And they wash great, especially when you're using Tide Pods. Go figure.
Oh,
It's gonna be
that's another 2018 staple. Fucking Tide Pods. Oh god, dude, this is already so 2018, and it's only January this video came out too. Fucking Ugandan Knuckles and Tide Pods. Oh god, this is like I think this is we're getting into like the era now where Matpat is trying to be so trendy that it kind of hurts sometimes. Probably won't be as bad as I remember though, so whatever.
spring soon, and spring tends to get kind of chilly. But don't worry, because I got you covered
What's
with
next?
another item that I think's the bomb. A bomber jacket.
The
Complete
bomb.
with game theory lining so that you
I was
too
like,
can
is he gonna
pull
bring up
that
another
pad and
2018
walk around
meme?
in jackets all year long, even when it's too hot to be doing so. Then for all those who
Rendo.
want to secretly show off their theorist pride, we got socks! Because honestly, people who wear fun,
Jesus
colorful,
Christ.
nerdy socks are like my favorite people in the world.
I can tell that's Steph.
I have 20 pairs of nerdy socks.
Don't tell me
ranging
how
from,
I
like,
know.
Deadpool to Rick and Morty, and now
Rick
Game
and
Theory's
Morty.
in the collection, and you could add it to your collection too. And finally, we have men's and women's underwear, perfect for your top and your bottom. Call it Game Theory Intimates. It's a new year.
Free
Get
edge
yourself
run.
some new gear. Plus, every order comes with a special Winter 2018 pin, as well as a chance to win something that is really special. Only 100 orders will come packaged with this, a special limited edition Golden Fury coin. Not only is it
Yeah,
just
this
super
is-
cool
this
to
is
get
like
a
crack,
real
bro.
gold
It's
coin,
addicting
it
to
also
watch.
may serve as your ticket to a very special event happening later this year. It's basically like Willy Wonka and his golden tickets, except
You get nothing.
for gamers,
Nothing.
but I have to warn you, supplies of
Pure
everything are super limited.
imagination.
We know that things took way too long last time to get to you, so we've partnered with a new team to ensure that you get your orders faster and with way better customer service. Unlike last time, everything is already printed, waiting in boxers and eager to find a
Boxes.
new home in your arms, or on your stanky feet, or covering your own
Stinky
vegetables.
feet.
Shipping is international, sizes are like what you'd get in the store, and again, to ensure that you get stuff fast, this is all super limited edition prints. Once it is gone, it is gone for good. So make sure you
Damn.
place your orders now, because who knows what will be available a
Honestly,
week from now. And once it arrives,
for the longest time, I like refused to get merch from Matpat because I once thought he was a sellout, but I don't think that anymore. And I literally own merch from him now with that fucking FNAF Varsity jacket. So Yeah, the only thing I'll just say though is I just don't like how that merch just looks in particular. I don't know. I just think the design's a little boring. Is all.
Send us a picture of you in the merch.
I'm more of a
Except
fan
for
of
the
his
underwear.
modern merch.
I don't want to get arrested. Anyway,
Wait,
enough
what?
with the picture of you in the merch. Who knows what'll be available a week from now? And once it arrives, send us a picture of you in the merch. Except for the underwear. I don't want to get arrested.
Oh God. Damn. I mean, at least he warned us. Good God.
Hey, enough shilling. Let's talk about the end
Shilling.
of this channel's most popular franchise.
And right, that's right.
Hello, Internet.
And you mix,
Welcome
like,
to Game
60
Theory,
more.
where let's just take a collective moment and get this all out of the way. Say it with me now. Another FNAF video. You said the last one.
Yeah.
Was your last. Yeah, I know, but I also said this. Now, don't get mad at me when the new game comes out in a few weeks and everyone tells me to do another theory about it.
Bingo was his name.
And true enough to form, that's exactly what happened. I released my final two-parter theory on the subject, and exactly 1 month later, FNAF 6, disguised under the fan game-esque name of Freddy Fazbear's
Fan game-esque
Pizzeria
name.
Simulator.
Fazbear Nightmare.
Now, at this point,
Wait,
the release game
what the
of
fuck
Freddy
is Fazbear Nightmare? What?
Pizzeria Simulator
fuck?
gets released. Now,
What are you
at this
playing
point, I wouldn't be
Fazbear
surprised if
Nightmare
you all
for?
thought that Scott and I were the same person. Come to think of it, you
Nope.
have never seen us in the same room together at the same
Although the FNAF movie set.
time. Anyway, the game
But that's
came
like
out
far
over
in the
2 months
future.
ago, and ever since I've had countless people asking me for the theory. Over 10 people in the last week alone stopped me on the street and asked for a FNAF episode. That's not even mentioning all the emails I've gotten in that time. So for Ben, Steven, Phil, Cassie, Matt,
Ben,
Lucas,
Steven,
Sarah,
Phil.
Alex, Matt number 2, and NBA
Matt
Rookie
number
of
2.
last year, Carl Anthony Towns. That's no joke, actually. As well as
Wait,
everyone
what?
who has sent in something requesting an episode on FNAF. This one, and potentially one squeezed between this one and the next theory, and maybe even a
Okay.
third one down the line
Okay.
at some point.
Celebrity
Those are
FNAF
all for you.
moment.
Now, FNAF 6 was a very different game from any of the ones that came before. Not because it had a weird roller coaster tycoon-esque metagame connecting all the security camera maintenance you've come to know and tolerate from this series, but because it's much
Cue
more
the FNAF
explicit
movie.
than usual. This game has a lot of talking, accompanied by clear
Exposition
visual
simulator.
storytelling to reinforce what you're hearing, meaning that a lot of the major plot points of this game are fairly easy to understand, which has got to be like a first for the entirety of this franchise. FNAF 6 is filled with a sense of finality. It's clearly meant to tie up all the loose ends and serve as the last game of the series. Or, let me be clear, the last part of the series covering what I'm gonna call the Purple Guy Saga.
Purple
It's like
Guy
Dragon
Saga.
Ball Z up in here. A saga which begins with a series of murders that result in animatronics coming to life, continues with the Afton family meeting with a series of terrible fates, and ends with the spirits of everyone involved getting closure, one way or another. Because this game feels much more obvious in its story, many online theorists have chosen to focus on the major story beats, actively ignoring the game's more unusual bits, the wrinkles that don't quite fit in cleanly. But it's in those wrinkles that we find answers to some of the longest held questions of the franchise, and the clues that we need to finally put the whole puzzle together. So stick with me and prepare to get a little wrinkly like a toe left in the bathtub
Ew.
for too long, because well, today is certainly a theory, or rather multiple theories all in one episode.
too
It's
wrinkly.
also me trying to open the door to you guys, equipping you with the information necessary to discuss the final points lingering around the edge of this mysterious franchise. Finally closing the book on the Purple Guy Saga. Now, before I get to the deep lore here, let me quickly run through the major reveals of this game just to make sure that we're all working with the same understanding. In the aftermath of FNAF 3's Happiest Day minigame, the spirits of Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and Golden Freddy have all been put to rest, which left only the lingering threads of Springtrap with William Afton inside, Ennard with Baby inside, Michael Afton, I'm a living corpse who used to have robot tentacles inside, and the puppet with nothing inside. Prior to the release of this game, Scott's two websites, scottgames.com and
Scoot
FNAFworld.com,
Games.
were talking to each other in their source code. A conversation which showed Baby and Ennard getting into a fight, and Baby basically getting voted out of the tribe, which is why in this new game the two are once again separate entities. Ennard in this game assumes
I still hate how, like, this like shit isn't in the game itself, and you had to look on the source code of Scott Games to find this out. I don't like that. Like, and I never will. It just makes no sense to like do that, like make that decision with the game.
The form of Molten Freddy, which, adding in this game's other new edition of Rockstar Freddy, brings the total
Rockstar
number
Freddy.
of different Freddy forms across the entire series to 12. 12 different Freddys alone. And
Wait.
12 different
Fredbear. Wait, I'm not
Freddys
counting.
alone. And you'll wonder why this game is confusing to talk about. Baby, meanwhile,
Baby.
becomes Scrap Baby, complete with a lobster claw and roller skates because Scott was like, "Wee, it's my final game. I can make the designs whatever the hell I want to." Springtrap now has a cleft chin, and heck, why not? There's a weird black bear named Lefty because
What
why
the
the heck
fuck?
not throw a 13th bear onto the pile? Throughout the game, you're not only tasked with handling the best characters ever, featuring such standouts as Number 1 Crate and Mr. Hugs, but every night you'll find one of your old friends out in that back alley, and it's your task per paragraph 4 of your employment contract to salvage that animatronic, bringing them into your establishment.
If you are playing this tape, that means that not only have you been checking outside at the end of every shift, as you were instructed to do, but also that you have found something that meets the criteria of your special obligations under paragraph 4.
Fast forward a couple nights to the true ending of the game, where we learned that the whole pizzeria was just a trap made to lure the stray animatronics into the same place at the same time,
Mr.
so
Hugs
that
is
they
peak,
and the horrors
indeed.
of Freddy Fazbear's could be finished off once and for all in a final blaze of glory. Even though that technically happened once before in FNAF 3 and Springtrap survived. But hey,
Yep.
who's counting? Me,
Yeah,
but,
who is
you know,
counting?
that's what I do. And who of all people set up this trap? What is the identity of this mysterious cassette man? Well, the first clue we
Cassette
get is
man.
actually in the closing monologue.
Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, old friend.
It's an old friend of William
Old
Afton's,
friend.
Henry, no last name given. And if that lack of a last name sounds
Henry
familiar,
Emily.
well, it should. I mentioned this guy a lot during that dark period where I used information from the books for my sister location theories. In the book series, he's the animatronic genius who partnered with William to create the Freddy bots. And this isn't only speculation. One of the secret endings, the insanity ending, proves that this is Henry. If during the game you buy this freak show egg creature for way too much money, it causes your computer's power button to switch from green to blue. If you then hold the power button like you're starting the computer in safe mode, it causes a hidden recording to play. An audio tape that happens to be labeled HRY. Henry. But the insanity ending shows us even more than just a light connection back to the novels. As
So don't keep
talks about
Charlie
his
waiting.
regret over ever helping William create the animatronics and his plan to lure everyone together to finish this off once and for all, we're shown a series of secret blueprints. Most of them provide a bit more detail into how this wacky world works. We're shown that Afton's scooper from sister location functions by infusing things with, for lack of a better term, soul energy, what Afton calls remnant. This is how Michael was able to survive as a purple corpse post his Ennard enema. We also see that Molten Freddy, formerly Ennard, still contains the souls of Ballora, Funtime Freddy, and Funtime Foxy, and that our mission under paragraph 4 is to specifically collect and destroy the remnant once and for all.
But wait, Matpat, I thought paragraph 4 was referring to your paragraph in that one video of yours that mentioned about William Afton's first murder. Remember? I thought that's what paragraph. I'm just fucking around. I don't really care.
Is destroyed by overheating, hence the fire at the end. We even learn the detail that literally no one was asking for: how to simulate children. The RASC, or Remote Activated Simulated C, I'm assuming stands for child, simulates body temperatures of 98.6 degrees and then runs around making child noises. Hence how you're able to lure all the murderous animatronics around in this game, and also probably FNAF 3. But what's most surprising is the final blueprint. Lefty, that oddball black bear that just showed up in this game. A bear that, according to its acronym, is programmed to lure something by emitting a bracelet code and then encapsulate it with a combination of lullabies and controlled shocks. A bear suit that was made by Henry that has the sole purpose of capturing none other than the puppet. You can even tell it's already accomplished its goal if you look closely at this rare screen you sometimes get when you boot up the game. The signature striped arm of the puppet showing through the Lefty animatronic. But it doesn't stop there. If If you buy and then play the security puppet minigame 3 times over the course of your week in the restaurant, you see a child trapped outside the pizzeria wearing a bracelet. The puppet, a security device of all things, is trained to respond to her specific bracelet code, green, and so it chases her outside only to find her dying in the alley. Short-circuiting from the rain that's pouring down around it, it lies down next to her, and the two fuse into one. And this lines up with exactly what we hear in the game.
Oh yeah.
My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms.
Henry's daughter, the first victim, is the puppet, the one who gave life to everyone that came after her and gave peace to their souls in FNAF 3. Finally confirmed after I'd been predicting it for 3 years since the release of FNAF 2. So there you have it. Henry from the books is now canon in the games. His daughter is the puppet trapped inside Lefty. Everyone, including Lefty, dies in the FNAF 6 fire, and Baby's name is established as Elizabeth in Henry's closing monologue. It's all pretty cut and dry. I mean, if you want to get really deep, the images on the walls in the alley are actually blurry contracts. You can tell based on the bullet points and oddly short paragraphs, which I have seen more than enough time to identify at a glance. And all of that relates back to that theme of what is paragraph 4, which has been Scott's calling card for this game. The creepy imagery of the ventriloquist and clown that you also see in the alleyway isn't teasing some new game like a lot of people have been assuming, but rather it's just an artistic recreation of the Afton family. William is the ventriloquist. The dummy, who looks exactly like him, represents Michael Afton, who, as we know, looks just like his father, just a smaller version of him, and has to parrot back a lot of what his father tells him to do. Elizabeth, aka Baby, is the clown. For
This
very
art looks
obvious
goofy, but in like a
reasons,
good
and the bear
way.
on the leash is just Crying Child, a child who is trapped and held back by his family, who ultimately dies in the hands of Fredbear. FNAF 6 even offers explanations for the inappropriate costumes that were mentioned by the phone guy
Inappropriate.
calls from FNAF 3. Yeah, you remember those?
Until replacements arrive,
That is so inappropriate.
temporary costumes provided to you. Keep in mind that they were found on very short notice, so questions about appropriateness/relevance should be deflected.
They're the mediocre melodies crew from this game, which also happen to match up perfectly to the other masks that you see during FNAF 3's Happiest Day minigame. A green one is Happy Frog, the pink one is Pig Patch, Mr. Hippo is purple, there's some blue one for some reason, and then Orville the elephant is the orange one with the long nose. But for as much as FNAF 6 explains, and it explains a lot pretty explicitly, it leaves open 3 huge questions. 3 questions that no one has been able to answer for the past 2 months until now. Or at least I'm pretty confident that I can
FNAF
answer those
reference.
questions. For the third one, I'm gonna need your help. Now, you don't need too much to get that true ending. You just salvage all the animatronics and survive all the nights. It's basic FNAFing 101. But there's another layer to this game. An ending that goes one step beyond just the base storyline. The Lore Keeper ending.
Oh, yeah.
Where things start to get complicated in a hurry. To unlock it, you have to play 3 specific minigames through to completion: Security Puppet, Fruity Maze, and Midnight Motorist. Security Puppet was easy to explain. The others, though, are where the questions start to pop up. In Fruity Maze, the game starts to become more and more unstable as you progress through the 3 levels. By the end of the 3rd stage, collectibles have transformed into slaughtered dogs and burial flowers. Your on-screen avatar is trailing bloody footprints, and the blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl reflected in the arcade screen is crying. And for good reason, since standing behind her is none other than the purple guy, dressed in his golden best. Now, this one's confused a lot of online theorists, but in my opinion, it requires some process of elimination to solve. FNAF 6 is all about tying up loose ends, right? And at this point, the puppet set the souls of FNAF's core 4 of Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie, and Chica, as well as Golden Freddy free in the Happiest Day minigame. Baby, the sister location crew, Springtrap, and the puppet are all taken care of by Henry in the true ending of FNAF 6, and the 3 toy animatronics from FNAF 2, which do seem to legitimately be tied to a security database, are scrapped at the end of their game. So who or what does that leave? Mangle. But I'm not saying that the girl is Mangle. I'm telling you it's her dog. Mangle is William Afton's first successful experiment with Remnant, Dog Remnant. Which, now that I say it out loud, sounds a lot more like dog duty than miracle soul formula, but let me explain. We obviously see that the girl's crying, but it's not because she's scared. We actually see that Wiltrap is able to have a normal conversation with her, saying, "He's not dead. He's still alive. Follow me." She's crying because her dog died, as represented on the screen. And that's the he that William's referencing here. Your dog is not dead. He is still alive. And we have proof that William isn't lying about this either. It's an odd detail that I've never talked about, which is pretty incredible that after so many of these darn videos, I'm still pulling out random factoids to piece into this puzzle. But in the Save Them minigame from way back in FNAF 2,
back
you're in a
when.
building filled with 5 dead kids and Purple Guy. All the other animatronics are stationary except for one, Mangle. Alive and well, and unlike every other animatronic in the entire series, roaming around on all 4s. Even though Mangle technically walks around on 3 legs, but you get the point. A design decision so important that we see Scott keep it in Mangle's quest from FNAF 3 as well. Mangle is alive without the puppet giving him gifts or giving him life. So
Give
how
life.
is the Mangle animatronic moving in this moment? William, experimenting with animals and Remnant. And as we see in the Fruity Maze, William uses the fact that the dog is still alive to lure this girl to her death, allowing her to be reunited with her dog forever. For more proof, notice that the dead dog in the Fruity Maze minigame is actually missing an eye, a detail that we see a chair with Mangle. Additionally, you ever notice how Mangle is the only animatronic that actually doesn't possess any human-like noises? The core 4 all feature moaning, sighs, or laughs at various points throughout the series. Melora, Baby, Springtrap, and the Fun Times all talk. Even the Nightmare animatronics breathe, which is a whole nother can of worms I'm not opening up today, but Mangle just has garbled radio noises, almost like its cognitive functioning is much less than all the other possessed creatures in the series. So that's Fruity Maze, but then comes the biggie.
I
Perhaps
know
the most
people that
vague
used to
and
think
bizarre
Mangle was a
moments from
dog.
FNAF 6 come from the hidden Easter
Like
eggs
the
in
animatronic
final
design.
Lore Keeper minigame, Midnight
And not a
Motor
fox.
Race. It starts simple enough. A top-down racer game, but glitch through an opening in the bottom of the track, and suddenly you're on a rainy drive through a rural tree-filled landscape, visiting a bar named Junior's, and eventually making your way to a lonely house
Junior's.
deep in the woods. Out pops the driver, and he's orange? Thanks, Scott. We finally solved the identity of Purple Guy, and you just had to throw in one final monochromatic mystery man. Orange Guy? I like to call him Mustard Man.
Jack Kennedy.
Charges into the house and rages at the fact that someone, presumably his son, has locked himself in his room. He goes around the back to find a way in, only to discover that the window is broken with a set of footprints and some bear tracks, leading to, quote, that place again. And that's it. The minigame abruptly ends there. No matter how many times you replay this game, it's always the same. It's weird, it's disturbing, and most of all, it's frustrating, since it seems to introduce all new characters in a game that's mostly about bringing every other character's story to a close. But are these truly new faces? No. Look first at the house. A lone house in a clearing surrounded by trees. Believe it or not, but we've actually seen this house before on the title screen to FNAF 4. A lone house in a clearing surrounded by trees. Not only that, but both houses have 2 stories. Even the roofs look roughly the same. But now think back to a quote that I mentioned last episode about how Scott writes these stories. Quote, there have been other times, however, when my original intentions didn't come across clearly. In those instances, I make a point to clarify in the next game. FNAF 6 is all about clarifying, explaining
Clarity.
explaining the scooper, the puppet, and what's our connective tissue in this minigame? Someone sitting in a living room watching TV. And what did we see at the end of every night of Sister Location? Michael Afton going home after his shift to watch TV. That slouchy figure there may look like a balding grandma, but it's good old Mike Casual Bongos Afton himself binging on his Immortal and the Restless. And I can further prove it via his text. Scott
Down in
has always
front.
roughly adhered to the convention of dialogue colors being important. And this final game is no exception to this rule. Green bouncer dude talks in green, orange guy talks in orange, and Michael Afton on the couch talks in gray. Exactly like he did when he was laughing at his crying brother back in FNAF 4. It's definitely a slightly different shade, but he's also the only one in the entirety of this series to speak in gray lettering. They also both wear gray shirts. Only the truly fashionable match their t-shirt to their font color. Couple all of that with him watching TV, the FNAF 4 title screen house, which always has a TV in it, and the character being protective over some him, say a younger brother, and you have yourself the perfect portrait of the Afton family, which would make Orange Guy Purple Guy. Otherwise known
I'm actually
as
like
William Afton.
interested in
He's even
this
got a
vid.
signature purple card, the same one that we saw him use in the FNAF 2 Take Cake minigame before he killed off Henry's daughter. But why? Why would Scott choose to make William Afton some color other than purple for like the first time ever in the final game in the series? The answer is actually kind of mundane, because by this point in the series, there are two different purple guys, William and his son. It would have been confusing from a storytelling standpoint. Though, I do gotta say, Scott, it's not that much better, since now you're swapping in a whole new color for a character who's been represented by another color the whole time. It's a bit confusing. Anyway, what does all of this mean? Why, out of all things, did Scott choose to show us this random scene? What is he trying to explain about the story through the battle between an orange William Afton and a runaway child? All of that in just a few days. This video is really long already. Plus, in a game that tries to answer everything from the entirety of the series, what was in the FNAF 4 box? Was it truly left forgotten forever? Is Scott waiting to reveal its contents in a future game?
Nope.
Make sure you take a
Nope.
out of that subscribe button to find out those final answers, as well as the solution to perhaps the biggest question of them all, the Lore Keeper's final screen. After unlocking all of these glitched minigames, Scott presents us with a series of gravestones filled with names. Some familiar, and some not so much. So, who are they? What do they reveal about the story? And how can you help me to solve Five Nights' last and most closely guarded secrets? All of that next time.
Oh,
In the
yeah.
meantime, though, remember, Game Theory merch is now available, but hopefully by this point it's selling out faster than a YouTuber with a Loot Crate sponsorship.
Alright, I think it's just okay. Alright. Okay, pretty slay, pretty slay video. Alright. Yeah. I guess let's watch the next one, shall we? Shall we, y'all? Game Theory, FNAF 6. What was in the box? Alright. Hold on.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory in 2018.
In
A show
2018.
apparently dedicated entirely to virtual boxes. Loot box psychology,
Oh my God.
loot boxes as gambling, the treatise on the science of fictional cardboard boxes. It's like box episodes are the new FNAF episodes.
It's like that one SpongeBob episode. It was like it's Idiot Box. It's like the imagination episode with like the box. And then like Squidward goes inside, like watches TV, and it's all fucking boxes on the TV. On all the channels. That's what it reminds me of.
It's for the channel. Gotta milk 'em dry. Next episode should be on, I don't know, the orange box or something. But in all seriousness, the box tetralogy reaches its dramatic finale today, as I cover what is perhaps the most infamous digital box of the last decade, FNAF 4's Locked Chest. Now, last episode we started to explore
lovely.
the idea that FNAF 6 is all about tying up loose ends. That as the last game game in the Purple Guy saga, Scott's goal was to give us the information necessary to close the book on this chapter in Freddy's story. But to me, as someone who has studied these games inside and out, if there was one question that needed to be answered in a final game, it wasn't how Michael Afton was able to become a living purple corpse through Remnant, or how Henry was able to create a device that could somehow simulate child body temperatures. I didn't even care so much about the timeline at this point. No, what I wanted answered was the biggest lingering mystery of FNAF. What was in the box? Rewind back to FNAF 4, the game that utterly wrecked everyone's understanding of this franchise. You beat the game, you get the iconic line of, "I will put you back together," and then boom! A literal mystery box that would make the likes of J.J. Abrams proud. Accompanied by the lines, "Perhaps some things are best left forgotten for now." But you know what? I never forgot. The fans never forgot. And I don't think Scott forgot either. So now, 2 years, 3 games, and 4 books later, I think I'm finally ready to break open the locks and reveal what was supposed to be in this thing versus what actually was in the thing. Because I have reason to believe that the contents of the box have changed 3 separate times.
It's always changing.
Now, in the wake of FNAF 6, Scott has already shown us what is inside the box. Let me explain. FNAF 4 was released on July 23rd, 2015, and with it, the mysterious box ending. Exactly 1 month later, August 24th, Scott made a post on Steam referencing a Halloween update for the game, an update where he had considered opening the box. Quote, "I wanted to post some information about the upcoming Halloween update. I started off a few months ago with several ideas in mind for what I wanted to release, ranging from DLC to a new game to opening the box, more on that later, but now I've been working steadily and have a pretty clear vision going forward." End quote. So, why wasn't the box included as a part of that update? Well, he explains it later in the post. Quote again. Now, I want to talk about what won't be included, the box. You know, when I released the first game over a year ago, I was amazed at how quickly everyone found every bit of lore and story. Then the same happened with Part 2. Then Part 3 came out, and once again, the story was uncovered by the community. But then I released Part 4, and somehow, no one, not a single person found the pieces. The story remains completely hidden. I guess most people assume that I filled the game with random Easter eggs this time. I didn't. What's in the box? It's the pieces put together. But the bigger question is, would the community accept it that way?
Oh, that infamous quote.
Remained elusive this time strikes me as
that infamous quote.
A fitting conclusion in some ways, and because of that, I've decided that maybe some things are best left forgotten forever. End quote. So clearly in the month after the release of the game, disappointed that the mysteries were staying hidden, Scott had already changed his mind about what he wanted to do with this box. And I just gotta say, Scott, my man, you didn't even give me a shot at this one. You change your mind about a game's fundamental mystery in a month? I mean, in that amount of time, all I could do was release a rushed out retrofitted prediction theory because I was stuck in con season when the game was released. Give a theorist some slack, man. So that begs the question of what he originally intended to be in the box. My theory, toys, a badge, a hospital wristband.
We're back with the stupid edits. Classic toy animatronics. Bro. Didn't even bother editing the cheeks out, bro. Oh, God.
And a picture of what eventually became known as the Afton family. The only time we would
imagine if, like, imagine you were, like, somebody in this family watching this video and you just see a picture of your family in a FNAF video, game theory video.
Never see them truly happy in this franchise. Remember, FNAF 4 was meant to be the final game in the series, and based on all the clues Scott left prior to the release of Sister Location, he absolutely intended for Freddy's to be a story told in the mind of a child. Maybe not so much in dreams, like Dream Theory would indicate, but perhaps in a coma, or on the kid's deathbed.
PDF
I mean, sure, let me be
file.
clear. Yes, there was absolutely a real-life string of murders informing this kid's visions, as evidenced by the puppet and the murder outside the restaurant. But I mean, look at what he just said in that Steam post. Most people assume that I filled FNAF 4 with random Easter eggs. I didn't. And now look at everything that lines up in this game. Toys that match the look and behavior of the toy animatronics. People getting shoved into suits by a guy hidden in shadows that would probably look like a murder to a young child. A boy carrying a balloon to inspire Balloon Boy. Bullies who to wear masks that perfectly match the nightmares, shadows that would literally inspire shadow animatronics, a mangled toy, the concept of a plush Bonnie that bites you, a child's phone and a child's fan to simulate the night guard desk, people walking around in animatronic suits like Springtrap, a grandfather clock like you would find in your home going off to signal the end of the night. The list goes on and on and on. And even though he moved on with the story, Scott still wanted us to figure it out, which is why on our October 5th, 2015 GT Live, Scott crashed the live stream, giving us explicit clues to figure it out. 4 games, 1 story, why is Toy Chica missing her beak, and what is seen in shadows is easily misunderstood in the mind of a child. All 3 clues again pointing to the conclusion of some sort of coma theory, with the box containing the items alluding to that story. Toys and plushies to show where all the ideas for the animatronics came from. A badge to show that this kid's father worked at the restaurant as a security guard. A hospital band to make it clear that the child was rushed to the hospital in the aftermath of the Fredbear bite, and a happy family that we see shattered in the aftermath of a stupid prank. This box is locked and hidden away in an attic or a basement when the child dies. The memories it contains are too tough to bear. But the line of, would the community accept it that way, is the key phrase in all of this.
Yes.
Scott knew that the story, as he envisioned it, would be controversial.
This box
for a
is
fan
so
base that was
fucking
literally
stupid.
comparing shades of purple across the series. He had a solution
Oh,
to the story
FNAF
that he
fans,
wanted
when
to
they see
tell, but was
purple,
now trapped
or
by his
shade
own
of purple.
success. People were too interested in his mystery box, which is why Sister Location and everything afterward emphasized more real-life events. Scoopers and Remnant and literal purple people walking around outside. But before he got to that point, there was one other course correction. FNAF World, the pimply-faced puberty of the franchise. The game that, also like puberty, everyone wants to forget, including Scott himself.
Damn,
And it was
I
here
love
that
FNAF
Scott tried
World.
to unveil the mystery of the box a second time. If you play through the game normally, you would never see any connections to the box. You would just play through this bizarre fever dream of an RPG, and then finally kill Scott Cawthon himself as the final boss of the game. Yeah, in case you skipped over FNAF World, Scott is one of the final bosses and complains about how obnoxious the fans of the series can get. It is...
What is with that fucking hole in the middle of the screen? What the? You can see the background. The fuck?
strange, it is funny, certainly meta, and most undeniably passive-aggressive. Anyway, if you linger on the opening dialogue between your character and Fredbear, you unlock
GT
a
Live
hidden
moment.
quest that lurks beneath the surface of the game that was undoubtedly meant to tie into the mystery of the box. We're told that the quest requires us to, quote, leave breadcrumbs for him to help him find his way. The him we're helping is FNAF 4's bite victim, and we know this from the opening dialogue. Quote, something has gone wrong. That's why I'm here. But I won't let the same happen to you. I will put you back together. The classic FNAF 4 line. So infuriatingly vague. Anyway, that line confirms that the you being talked about here is the bite victim, that the something has gone wrong is referring to the bite itself, and that the yellow eyes doing the talking, the one who is trapped here, is the puppet. From here, your secret quest is to find a series of clocks and complete mini-games that directly relate to the steps necessary to unlock FNAF 3's Happiest Day ending. You push Balloon Boy into a box, you press 4 arcade buttons, you set up 4 cupcakes, etc., etc. And if you do everything correctly, your secret ending reads as follows. Quote, we're still your friends. Do you believe that? The pieces are in place for you. All you have to do is find them. And we know from FNAF 3 that the pieces are indeed found. On the cutscenes between nights, we find the clues that FNAF World left for us hidden in the hallway, telling us to do things like double-click Balloon Boy and collect the 4 cupcakes, which then enables us to complete the glitched minigames and release the spirits once and for all. But the important line of this FNAF World ending is, the pieces are in place for you. A line that very intentionally mirrors the language Scott used to describe the contents of the box in the first place. What's in the box? It's the pieces put together. And if you think that this is just a linguistic coincidence, it's not. Remember, Scott doesn't do coincidence, because here's the real shocker. While trolling through the game's texture files, Reddit user Poi2010-201, or at least his was the earliest post that I could find discussing this discovery, found that FNAF 4's box was actually hidden in FNAF World's code. But it wasn't just the box, it was a texture of the box, unlocked and open. So, for a second time, we clearly see that Scott had plans to reveal what was inside his mystery box. Which then begs the question, what was in it this time? And honestly, it's hard to say. As you can probably tell, FNAF World played with the lore of the main series in some very unusual ways. For instance,
Oh, indeed. I don't care for the lore in FNAF World, honestly. I like FNAF World, but I don't care about the lore in it, no offense.
Leaving breadcrumbs in the real world that you would be able to follow in FNAF 3. But because the game ends with the line, the pieces are in place for you to follow, it implies that the guard we're playing as in FNAF 3,
I remember that game. I forget the
finding
name
these
of it, but I
clues, was
remember.
the light victim, which then opens
the
up
game.
An entirely different can of worms. And if it's all true that the puppet is stuck in this weird nebulous FNAF world, then the world of the game is literally, or
that music
symbolically, limbo or death. Anyway, it's very messy. If I were to guess, Scott planned on FNAF World the game actually being the box. A game that literally contained all the pieces of this franchise put together. Yeah, it's a bit symbolic and half-baked, but, you know, so was FNAF World. But it was here that the mystery would change direction yet again. This time, though, it wasn't the community that prompted the change, but rather Scott himself, who made it clear that he was dissatisfied with FNAF World as a rushed and unpolished release. Embarrassed by the game, he quarantined it off to its own little segment of the franchise. And in the process, he retconned its story to focus on the new, more human drama-esque direction that the series would take moving forward. You can see this actually through creative changes like the game's new ending, which revealed Henry and Baby for the very first time, as well as some lines that got added between updates, with glitched Fredbear foreshadowing something terrible coming, aka Baby. Instead of being focused backwards on details from previous games like the Bite Victim and the FNAF 3 minigames, the game was now looking forward to a game that had yet to be released, which left the box and the resolution it promised for the entirety of the Freddy story once again abandoned. And when both Sister Location and FNAF 6 rolled credits with no mention of boxes, that's exactly where it seemed like it would stay, forgotten forever. But I wasn't convinced. For as convoluted as the story often is, Scott cares too much about it, and cares too much about this community to leave a mystery this big unanswered. My first thought about connecting the box to the new game was Candy Cadet, the best character to ever come out of this franchise.
No.
Candy.
No.
If you visit Candy Cadet enough times and give him enough tokens, he'll tell you one of 3 separate stories, all sharing the same general theme of 5 objects merging into one object and then being put into a box. In the first, 5 keys are melted together into one key by a mother trying to save imprisoned kids, with everyone dying trapped in their own room. The second has 5 kittens in danger of being eaten alive by a snake, the remains of which get sewn together and stored in a shoebox. And the third, well, the third is the most uplifting story, as 5 orphans get adopted by a man who wants to protect them from a burglar, and it doesn't go so well.
He left one day to buy food, his heart being filled with gladness, but returned to find that the burglar had chosen his home and killed all 5 of the children. The man could only afford one coffin, so he stitched the 5 bodies together to make one, and buried the child. That night, there was a knock at the door.
Oh.
So clearly, the Candy Cadet stories were making some connection to boxes. But what did all these stories mean? Characters getting stitched together immediately made me think of Ennard, but even at Ennard's peak,
my
he
favorite.
only had 4 characters inside of him: Freddy, Foxy, Ballora, and Baby. So that one didn't quite work out. Famously, there were 5 children killed as a part of the missing children's incident, but their souls individually ended up in animatronics rather than being put together and crammed into the same box. There are 5 other games in the series, so maybe this is all a meta commentary about the franchise itself, but then what would it mean to stitch them together? Just solve the story? Were the stories fixating on different moments of the Freddy timeline? Suffice it to say, Candy Cadet led me straight to a dead end. A dead and stitched together end, that is. I gotta say, I scoured the game. I knew the box was hidden here somewhere, and I suspected that Candy Cadet was involved in some way, but I was so overwhelmed with information at this point. Clues whirling past me, vague minigames and stories that had no concrete answers, details of games upon games, cut, unused content. The box needed to be...
That is so much shit.
All of these separate pieces. And then finally, the storm cleared and it all clicked. The final image of the game. During the true ending, Henry calls in to unveil his trap.
You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize.
We then see the schematics of the ventilation system we've been working with throughout the entire game. We see it for a long time as the center square, the actual pizzeria filled with kids, fades away. And what we're left with is a familiar shape, a box, a rectangular box, a locked box, A box with no exit. A box where, according to our responsibilities in paragraph 4,
Oh boy,
we
this is
put
such a
all
stretch.
the pieces together.
Such a
Salvaging
stretch.
remaining animatronics, playtesting the minigames for all
Still
the hidden
going long.
lore,
This
and
probably be the
finally
last one we
bring the
watch
FNAF
today, though.
storyline to its end once and for all. As we bring this story to a close, what did
Such a
Scott
stretch.
finally decide to do with the box? He made it Henry's trap in FNAF 6 to lure the final pieces together and finish him off once and for all. Like Candy Cadet told us over and over again in this
Why is like Candy Cadet just in like a different color scheme now for the rest of the video?
three stories.
It's
The box is
weird.
filled with 5 dead things becoming one. 5 children killed, sewn together, and buried in one coffin. 5 dead kittens, sewn together and kept in one shoebox. 5 keys melted together and torched in one room. And in our case in FNAF 6, 5 animatronics trapped in one pizzeria simulator and burned. And this works any way that you count it. Baby, Springtrap, and Molten Freddy, who we know according to his blueprint has 3 animatronics in him, thus making 5. Or you can count it Baby, Springtrap, Molten Freddy, Puppet, and our character who we play as Michael. 5 characters, all essential to the FNAF story, brought into one box to die. Even Henry himself has a role here in the Candy Cadet stories. He's the innocent of those stories, the one who started with good intentions who ultimately fails to protect those under his care. He's the mom who lets the kids burn. He's the kid who leaves the snake's cage open. It's Henry's negligence that allows the snake, the burglar William Afton, to claim so many lives. We hear him lament this in the insanity ending.
It's only now that I understand the depth of the depravity of this creature, this monster that I unwillingly helped to create.
This was Scott's subtle nod to the box in FNAF's final game. The way to work it in after all the twists and turns his story had to take over the years. Was it what he originally intended for it? Absolutely not. Is it the most obvious explanation? Not by a long shot. But when you consider that this animatronic empire started as one big unexpected twist in Scott's life and was then fueled by a story full of not so obvious narrative moments, having the box end up being a symbol for the franchise's final climactic moment, it feels right.
It's
If I can
such
borrow
a
from
stretch.
Scott's original description, it feels special.
It's such a stretch.
And with that, there's only one theory left to go. The analysis I promised for Midnight Motorist and the mystery of the Lorekeeper graves. 2 questions that close out these games for what feels like the final time, but begin to point towards what the future might hold for the Freddy's series. More on that soon. Not next episode, since if I do more than 2 of these things in a row, people get really mad at me, but definitely soon, since I want to put this thing to rest as much as you guys. I could use, at the very least, a complete refresh on this whole thing and start from scratch again. So ring the bell to ensure that we all close out the Freddy saga together. And in the
Eggplant,
meantime,
welcome to stream.
remember, that's just a theory.
Please let this be the last FNAF for at least a year. Sincerely, Game Theory editors. And then we get Ultimate Custom Night.
A game theory.
A gay theory.
Thanks for watching.
Oh, then there's nothing after. Okay, so... okay. I think it's safe to say that the conclusion of the Pizzeria Simulator map being like the FNAF 4 box, whatever, like tying it to that is such a stretch. Such a huge stretch. But, it's something. Anyway, what I was saying to Ryan, this is gonna be the last one for today. I'll try and continue the stream series consistently more often. So yeah, I've been doing daily chill streams on Tyler Extras. If you guys want to check those out, those have been fun to do. Pretty fun, actually. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. In the description below will be the download link. No download link. It will be chapters to the ones we watched today, sections. As well as that is my Discord server, Twitter, Instagram, Tyler Extras, Tyler's World, my TikTok. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see y'all in the next thing that I do. Toodles! Bye.